Performance is not always theatrical. Sometimes it looks like competence, charisma, and certainty. Sometimes it looks like wisdom, like leadership, like service. But the real test is this. If you stopped doing, would you still feel worthy? If no one was watching, would you still show up? This is the real cost of performing. This is the cost of performing. Your value becomes externalized and it's measured in reactions and tracked by metrics and defined by other people's mirrors. You're not living, you're managing an image. And at first that feels like power. You've cracked the code. You know how to show up in a room, how to get the response, how to get the sale, how to stay in control. You become what they want. You say what lands, you give what's needed, and the world applauds. But underneath the applause, there is silence. Not the silence of peace, but the silence of absence. Because somewhere along the way, you stopped asking if this was you. You stopped checking in. You stopped listening to the man beneath the mask. And now you don't remember if this voice is yours or the one that gets the best response. Performance is often very subtle. It doesn't always lie, but it does omit. And it does hide what doesn't get a standing ovation. And what are those things that don't get a standing ovation? Your grief, your doubt, your rawness, your ambivalence, your softness. These parts don't perform well, so you tuck them away. But they don't go quietly. They become other things. They become shame. They become exhaustion. They become sabotage, and they wait. Until one day you can't sustain the act anymore. The platform feels hollow. The praise lands but doesn't touch you. You get what you thought you wanted and feel nothing. This is the invisible toll. You've built a so-called empire on something that you don't fully inhabit. And no one knows because the mask is so good. Sometimes you don't even know. This is why performance is so dangerous, not because it's false, but because it's only half true, and half-truths are harder to escape. You can convince yourself for years that you're in alignment because people respond, because you get results, because no one complains. But the question isn't, does it work? The question is it real? Does it feed you? Does it source you? Or does it drain you the moment the lights go off? Because that moment when the audience leaves, when the phone is quiet, when no one is asking anything of you, that's when you meet yourself. And for the performing man, that moment is terrifying because he doesn't know who he'll find. This is the real cost. You spend your life curating a self instead of becoming one. You learn to manage perception but forget how to hold presence. And the truth is, you don't even trust the people who love you because they've only seen the version that works, the version that shines, the version that sells. So you smile while silently wondering, would they stay if I stopped impressing them? That question will haunt you until you answer it with your life. And to answer it, you'll have to stop performing, even just for a moment, even just with one person. You will have to show the mess, the confusion, the need, the truth, and let them stay or let them walk. That's how you begin to feel real again, not by being ignored, but by being seen, not by perfecting your offering and your performance, but by standing in your essence with nothing to prove. Because the man who lives for applause will always fear the silence. But the man who can stand firmly in silence without shrinking has finally come home. Welcome to The Architect Speaks.